Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful Saturday here, and I came across something. I didn't even listen to the whole thing. It's just on how the Bible was put together and how it is, in a way, manipulating the people and to believe something, and basically the title was they made it all up, and they show the cross, and it's like, is it really that difficult to understand what the Bible is? First of all, it's not true, like they said in the video, that it's the Catholics that put the New Testament, for example, together. Okay, there were many people involved in that, and before the Catholic Church was even assembled, if you want to call it that, and Jesus himself contributed quite a bit to the New Testament. Oh, well, but we weren't there, so we don't really know. Well, when something survives for as long as the Bible has, 6,000 years? Okay, it's not 6,000 years, but 6,000 years of history, so to say, then how can you not acknowledge that to start with? So there must be something good about that book. The other thing too, the Bible's a textbook. It tells us what to do and what not to do, right? And tell us right from wrong. And if you read the whole Bible, if you really go through it, then you start to realize that God's just been trying to kind of get humanity back on track. Yeah? With most of the stories in there, it's like that, right? Dear me, how do I teach my children what's right and what's wrong? How do you live properly? That then, when you go to spirit world, you end up in a good place. So, anyway, I needed to make this little video about that. It's incredible to me that so many people out there, and first of all, still to this day, oh, well, where's the proof in the pudding, to start with? If you look at the principles of creation and the principles of love, that are unchanging. It doesn't matter how people want to twist things around to their own desires, this and that, they stay the same. Okay? They stay the same. As far as I know, nobody's been able to manipulate the 4 seasons yet, where there are 4 seasons. Right? And they weren't able to bring 4 seasons where there aren't, per se. So, different places in the world, different environments. It is as it is. And the principles of love are exactly the same. You want a happy life, then you abide by that. And what is that? First of all, you care for your body, especially your reproductive parts, and you keep them holy and sacred. Because that's where a lot of love comes from. Having a child, for example. Not only that, but the union of 2 people. Okay. So, again, really? You guys need to go and start to dispute the Bible, that, it's all fake or this or that. I think anyone that has read the Bible, anyone that has some life experience, anyone that has put their faith in God, knows that, it's a textbook. It's something to study. And it's amazing on how much guidance it brings people, on how people actually do get saved through reading the Word of God. So were the words given by God? Well, some people are more inspired than others, aren't they? I mean, if you really want to say something that's fake, then take the gods of the Greeks and the Romans and whatever. All these weird deities, that have multiple hands and feet and I don't know what, heads and throw thunderbolts and I don't know what. Come on now, everyone. So again, one doesn't want to believe in historic events that no doubt, many of them happened, maybe not quite as sensational as they are depicted per se, but they did happen. And they want to replace them somehow because no one can deny their spiritual nature. They really, when it comes down to it, you can't. Otherwise, we would be just walking around without feelings, without, you just kind of go and do your thing every day, and that is that. But we're very emotional beings, and that comes from somewhere. And when you just look at science and physically and how we're, then that, it's not gonna, it just doesn't fly, right? That we're just a physical being and there's nothing else. It's just not, you know what? It just doesn't make sense. Doesn't make any sense. Any living thing looks for love. That has to come from somewhere. And that is about it. So again, these videos floating around out there, and the comments, oh yeah, people need to awaken to that. I'm going, awaken to what? Just, people don't have enough to do. They have to come up with stuff like that. Anyway, I always suggest to people, start growing something. Either, really, truly take good care of an animal that you have and raise an animal, or raise plants. Really, fully, 100% give yourself to that. You start to realize on how much we're guided, how much was given to us to care for. So, yeah. So now in the Bible, every story is, well, I've read some of them going, well, I don't even know what is in here. What is that? At the time maybe, okay. And they don't really make sense to me either, But they're there. And again, that is in every book, everything, even in documentaries, this, that, when you go and actually read up a little more, you're going to say, wait a minute, but that's not quite right. Yeah, right? Yes. So there it is. I just needed to make this little video. Gosh, don't start denying the Bible. It's too valuable a books for us to just start to picker around on it and use our common sense and intelligence as a human being when we read it, to know what applies in my life. What do I need from the Bible in my life to make my life better? And not just my life, but the life around me, of others, right? Yes, that kind of makes sense. That's it. You kind of turn away from God and His words, then you're going to start looking for something else. And I've found that with every person I've ever come across, they needed something else to somehow stabilize the spirituality that they have, the spirit that they have, that also needs to be fed. Sadly, then they really get into the fantastic stuff. That is fake. That is absolutely fake. So anyway, I needed to share that. So if you don't have one, go get a Bible, start reading. That's quite entertaining too, And give yourself some time to do that. People don't do that anymore. Well, I know a lot of people who read the Bible, including myself. And again and again, the more as you spiritually grow, the more you start to understand. Right? The Bible is a textbook. It tells us what to do, what not to do. Right? And it's letting us know, trying to get us back on track on what is right and what is wrong. Yeah, and then there are some that take just certain things out of the Bible that fits their agenda, and then twist it and turn it a little bit for their own desires. Yes, that's true. But those are all individuals out there too. If you don't want to listen to a pastor you don't like, then don't listen to him. As I said, freedom of will. You get to choose. All right. Well, that's what I wanted to share on this beautiful Saturday morning, and I wish you God's love and blessings always.